Consigliere. Consigliere. That's not gonna go well. Hey, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you, and if you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. Welcome to another monthly book club. It's a series here on my channel where I tell you exactly what I read each month and exactly what I rate it. Before we begin, as always, a couple of disclaimers. Number one, I'm never here to be intentionally mean or nasty. I really respect books and authors. I am here though to tell you my honest opinion about the books I've read, but even saying that, I don't want my potentially bad review to influence you. If you already wanted to read a book and I say it's not good, who cares? Read it anyway. Honestly, reading is so subjective. The reason that I might hate a book might be the actual reason that you love it and vice versa. And obviously, neither of us are wrong. So take everybody's reviews, honestly, with a grain of salt. And one last thing, I'm gonna pop some pictures up on the screen right now for you, just so you can kind of tell why I rate things the way that I do. This is a flawed, outdated system, but it is only just a baseline. It really depends on my mood and everything else, but I always let you in on all of that anyway. Okay, and now without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so for this month, honestly, I kind of feel like we haven't had anything extraordinary, but we also didn't have anything particularly horrible, in my opinion, of course. But let's start with Her Alien Neighbor. First of all, the tropes. This is a paranormal enemies to lovers sci-fi romance. So this is a story about Axel and Vanessa just wants to make it big. She wants to be an actress, but her sister calls her out of the blue one day and lets her know that her Aunt Franny died. So she goes back to the small town that she once loved visiting and realizes that her auntie left her house, but it's kind of a mess. Honestly, before she sells it, she needs to do a lot of repairs and she really doesn't have the funds for that. But in another turn of events, she actually realizes that her auntie left her a buried treasure of sorts. But as it turns out, she can't find it alone. She needs the help of a grumpy next door neighbor. And so while he's helping her solve the riddles, she discovers that she actually likes him and is now in a pickle and doesn't know what to do. Oh, and have I mentioned that he's not actually from Earth? He is an alien, and him and his brothers are hiding their true identities. You can imagine that it gets a little complicated. Now let's talk about it. So my rating for this book is 3 stars and 2 chili peppers. Overall, I felt like some parts of the book were a little bit cliche, but you know what? It was unserious and fun. There was a decent amount of smut, but I haven't read anything unique, anything that I haven't already read a million times before. So that's why I gave it the 2 chili peppers. And you know what else? I also did like the main male characters and the main female characters connection. I wasn't obsessed, but I did like it overall. Some of the sci-fi aspects honestly really were a little corny, but nothing too serious. And you know what? Overall, I didn't love, but I did like. Next up, we have The Consigliere. I definitely mispronounced that, and I am sorry in advance. This is a dark mafia friends to lovers romance, and it's about Aurora and Hunter has been in love with her since he was about 13. But to be honest, she only ever saw him as a friend. Now, she's her brother's unofficial consigliere, and he's now the new Don of the Camorra. And even though Aurora hasn't spoken to him in like 10 years, he is finally determined to make her his consigliere. The more I say that word, the less I feel like I'm pronouncing it correctly. But the point is, he's coming for her whether she's ready or not. Okay, now the rating for this one specifically, 2 stars and 4 chili peppers from me. And honestly, I'm disappointed. I wanted to love this one more, but it just wasn't happening. At around 33%, I just didn't know what I was reading about. There wasn't one clear plot. There was just kind of like a bunch of stuff. Not to mention, throughout the whole book, I was reading a lot of text correspondence between the main male and female characters. I don't even want to read my own texts, okay? Much less in a book. So that was kind of like a drag for me. I will say at around 91%, there was a really cool twist. And from then on, the book got really exciting. But overall, I wish it was as exciting as it was from that moment on throughout my whole reading experience. Now, on the other hand, you might have noticed that the smut rating is quite high, and you know what, girl? If you're in it for the smut, this might be a good read, okay? There is torture, blood play, to name just a couple, and it definitely was interesting to read about. I'm not gonna lie, I just wish the plot gave me more. Moving on, we have The Proposal Project, which is a contemporary novel. It's enemies to lovers, and it has aspects of fake dating, of course. Now, Priscilla and Tina are best friends, and Tina asks Priscilla to help her organize the event of her lifetime, okay? Which is proposing to her boyfriend Ryan. Now, since Priscilla has always wanted to be an event planner, she does accept, and she ends up being really excited about it. However, she finds out from Oliver, Ryan's annoyingly handsome best friend, that Ryan just might beat Tina to it. Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Well, Tina's backstory and how her parents got together plays a big part into that, and I'm not gonna go into detail, but it is really important for Tina to pull this off first, so that's why Priscilla's worried. And in an attempt to kind of at least make this a joint proposal, she enlists Oliver's help so that this whole thing could run smoothly. Now, since they're trying to hide this whole thing from honestly both Tina and Ryan, they of course pretend that they're dating, and then it's not so pretend anymore. Yes, it's that old song and dance, which I always love and eat up. So let me tell you about it. Again, really wanted to love this one badly, but my rating is 2 stars and 2 chili peppers. And mainly, I feel like that was because, to me, while I was reading this, the main characters kind of felt like side characters. The first 30% of the book, somewhere around there, was pretty slow, and then from that point on, I was honestly more focused and even more invested into the proposal rather than the developing relationship between the main couple. And honestly, I don't think that should have been the case. And also the fake dating aspect, which you know I love, has been taken a little bit too far in my opinion, because they're really running with the whole, oh, we better make this look real sentiment up until about 83% of the book. So we really jump past the whole, oh, I actually like you for real phase, which I love, and we move straight to love. And that was kind of upsetting for me too. I really like it when the fake dating gradually turns into like, and then eventually love. So yeah, by the end, I ended up being more invested by Tina and Ryan, their friends, rather than them actually. And smut-wise, nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary to me. Moving on to our last full review of the day, Made for Each Other. Now this is another contemporary romance. It is fake dating once again, and it has elements of forced proximity. So Abby is a part-time student. She has 2 jobs, and she never thought her apartment would get infested, but because of a building-wide outbreak, she now needs somewhere to stay, and one of her gigs is cleaning. She does work at a maid service, so she decides, what's the harm if I just crash at this rich guy's apartment just until my apartment gets sorted out, right? And honestly, that works out great for her until one morning she finds 2 strangers in the kitchen who seem to think that she's his fake girlfriend and invite her to an event that she agrees to go to. Now, obviously, in her mind, she's just like, I'm gonna flake, but the actual owner of the penthouse tracks her down and has a proposition for her, which is pretend to date him to get his parents and everybody else off of his back, and he'll provide her with everything that she needs and even money to pay off her student loans while their little arrangement lasts. What's the harm in that, right? You and I obviously both know that feelings get involved, so let's talk about it. I rated this 3 stars and 1 chili pepper, and honestly, overall, I felt like this was good, albeit a little slow. Now, I am somebody who does love a slow burn, but this was a little bit too slow even for me, considering that there were a few kisses and their first time at around 80%, and that was kind of it. Also, one thing to note smut-wise is that this is definitely a closed-door romance. Some people love that, some people hate it. I don't mind it. I don't need a book to be explicit for me to enjoy it, but it definitely is something to take note of. But overall, this is a solid read. I would say I enjoyed it. Okay, so now it's time for rapid-fire reviews, which is where I don't explain much at all. I just tell you the rest of the books that I read and rate them really quickly without getting into the details. Taming the Heart, I was disappointed, but I did end up DNFing this one. And I can tell you the specific moment when I DNF'd it. It was around 60% when the main female character said, and I quote, "It's dick out a clock somewhere," and I just couldn't. That was honestly the last straw for me. I will say everything else did also fall flat, so I just had nothing to grip onto, and that was kind of the cherry on top. Lawless God, I DNF'd this at around 40% because I didn't care about absolutely anything. It was a slow start and I didn't end up feeling a thing, so why continue? Now, Coach Sully on the other hand, 3 stars and 3 chili peppers. I liked it. The spice was spicy. The MMC is nasty. Definitely a lot of kinks. Now the plot, otherwise, if we take that out of the consideration, was good, nothing special, but enjoyable. Mountain Daddy, 3 stars and 2 chili peppers. Short chapters, which I love. Good chemistry between the main characters, which I love. There was nothing too special special with the storyline. Otherwise, I wish there was more to the plot, but enjoyable. And last but certainly not least, Through the Dust, which is 2 stars and 2 chili peppers. I felt as though the focus was not as much on the main couple as it was sort of on everything else. And honestly, up until around 42% or something like that, there was not much progression to the couple at all. Okay, now we're officially done. If you read any of these books, let me know. If your rating is different than mine, also do be sure to let me know. I'm really interested in what you guys think. And thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, you are a legendary legend. And if you liked this video, then please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all that fun stuff, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!